Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
The Rock Review is catching up with an amazing singer, songwriter, guitarist, and also author, Michael Sweet of the band Stryper. Thanks for joining us, Michael.
Oh, hey, thanks for having me, buddy. That always sounds very funny to me to hear author. I don't consider myself an author, but I guess I am, right?
Well, you know, I got to bring it up to you. I mean, your book, honestly, came out in 2014 along with the album, and that book went over very well. I mean, I was thinking, you know, it's been 6 years. You may have to work on a new one for the next year.
Well, you know, I've always talked about that because so much has happened since that book, the last chapter of that book to now. And then there's a lot of other stories, too, that I didn't really touch on. That, you know, after you write a book, you say, oh, my gosh, I should have talked about that. I should, you know, you realize after the fact. But I've got a lot of stuff I could put in a new book. It's just finding the time to do it is very difficult.
Well, especially with the amount of music that you generate, you know, between Stryper, your solo work, you know, and also working with George Lynch. But I got to bring up your brand new album that is releasing on September 4th. And you've got a few singles out already. And this is the 13th studio album for Stryper, Even the Devil Believes. I got to tell you, I love the songs.
Oh, good, man. I'm glad you like it. It's this album, you know, I kept saying it's a metal album. It's a metal album, and it is. It's for sure 100% metal album. But at the same time, we really wanted to incorporate more melodies and bring back a little bit more of the melodic side of the band as well as the edgy side of the band. So, you know, these are metal songs, but with lots of melodies and vocal parts going on.
You know, and I really enjoyed, you know, the layering of the vocals. Your voice still sounds amazing. It's hard to believe that you guys launched the band over 35 years ago. What, I think 1983 when you guys first came out with the band, right?
Yeah, 37 years ago, we launched the band, and then we didn't release our first album until 84. So that was 36 years ago. But man, I mean, here we are approaching the 40-year mark. You know, the 3 years are going to go like that. Mm-hmm. And we'll be at the 40-year anniversary mark, and it's just mind-boggling to me to think that we've been together that long. I mean, you know, on and off, but still,
right,
together as a band, as a name, as a brand, that long. That's remarkable.
Well, you know, and I remember back in the MTV days too, to where I believe you guys had 2 hits on the top 10 of MTV at one time, which was kind of unheard of.
We did, man. And, you know, I don't know if during that time, if that ticked off Motley Crue or Bon Jovi or whoever, but I know that our songs came to be on the countdown, and then we had another one on at the same time. We had 2 on at the same time. One was #1 and one was climbing the charts. And I think it bumped off Motley and Bon Jovi at one point in time. But, you know, even we were sitting there watching this take place, thinking to ourselves, what's happening here? This is crazy. You know? It didn't make any sense. It still doesn't, but, you know, it happened. It's reality, and we're very thankful for that. Very cool.
Well, you know, and I got to hand it to you and the band too, Michael. You guys were so ahead of the curve, really, when you look at Christian music and everything now and how contemporary it is. And you guys started this so many years ago, really putting in a message in the music. It still had the great music, but you put the message also.
Absolutely. I mean, it's always been important for us to put just as much time into the message as we do the music. You know, it's not one or the other mentality. It's you know, we got to really make sure that the music grabs people and that the message moves people. And, you know, if that's not happening, we have to reevaluate and make it so, because it's just important for us to give people hope, to give people something. You know, at the end of the day, a lot of rock and metal bands, just, it's all about the music, not so much about the message. Mm-hmm. Actually, the complete opposite. The message is pretty, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Very cliche, typical. And, you know, Stryper's always been a band that's tried to somehow inject positive, motivational and inspirational and encouraging lyrics into our songs.
Well, you know, and I want to bring up too, Michael, to where this album was recorded during the pandemic, right?
Well, it started out that way. What happened was we had plans to start. I started writing in December of last year. So we had started hearing just bits and pieces of things going on over in China and didn't really think of a worldwide pandemic at that point in time.
Right.
And then the guys came out here to the house. We started rehearsing. We started hearing a little bit more. By the time we got into the studio, that's when we started hearing about cases here. And everyone was getting more and more nervous. We went to Mexico, came home, and it was a full-blown pandemic at that point in time.
Wow.
Crazy. But by that time, we already had the album recorded except for my lead vocals.
Amazing. Well, I was going to bring up too, you had such a storied career, even back to the day, I understand that your dad had to apply a little pressure to your brother to let you in the first band, right?
He did, because, you go back to that time, I was 12 years old. My brother was 15. So my brother was a man, an adult, and I was a kid. And basically, you're asking this adult to let his kid brother into the band. You know what I mean? It's just, in real life, it's not normal. But at the same time, once I went in the room and actually picked up a mic and sang and auditioned for the band, Robert realized, like, okay, maybe he's not just the kid brother. Maybe he's got something here and can bring something to the table. And I'm glad to see that I proved that theory right, hopefully. I was able to step in and sing and play and write songs and all sorts of things, and it wound up working.
Yeah, working very well, because between obviously with Stryper and with your solo career, playing in Boston, where Tom Scholz comes and taps you, you sit in with him and Tom's like going, hey, you want to stay with the band for a while? And that turned into what, like 4 years, right?
Yeah, I was supposed to just do a one-off show because it was going to be their last show. That's what I was told. And I learned the songs, and I was only going to play 1 or 2 songs. And we had a number of singers cancel. Sammy Hagar was one of them. He canceled. And Ann Wilson of Heart canceled. And then they asked me to sing more material. I went out there and did, to a packed house of Boston fans. I was pretty nervous.
Right.
And, and it went so well that after that show, Tom Scholz came back and asked me to join the band and said, we're going to go tour. And it was really crazy. The next year we went out and did a 56 city tour with Styx opening. So it was really hard to believe, pinch me moment every day. Wild, just incredible.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's so amazing. And I'm sure, once things open up again, hopefully, Stryper will get back out on the road. You guys will get to, be able to share with your fans, maybe even some virtual shows later this year. Do you think you're going to have some more solo work or something more with you and George Lynch in the next year or so?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Basically the next year for me on the calendar is pretty booked solid. I'm going to finally finish singing the vocals after the guys go home. We're going to be doing a couple of on-demand live shows here.
Oh, great.
And then those won't come out until a little bit later on. But the guys are here now. We're doing that, rehearsing for that. Then I'm going to finish singing the Sunbomb album with Tracy Guns. And then I got 2 projects to do with Frontiers. The next year, I'm going to do a solo album early in the year. And then I'm talking about a Sweet Lynch album. And then we'll do a Stryper album at the end of the year or beginning of the following year.
You're a busy man, Michael.
Well, I got to stay busy, man, because I'm very fearful of having to go and fill out an application at Home Depot. You know what I mean?
I think that's all of us.
Maybe we're all there. Maybe we all will be there. And you know what? That wouldn't be so bad. I go to Home Depot every day anyway, looking for light bulbs. So it wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what, congratulations. The brand new album is coming out September 4th. I think you might have some of your signature guitars involved in this with Washburn too, right?
I do. I was with Washburn for 3 years, and they did me right. They released a number of models. And then what happened was the guy that was my contact there and the guy that made everything happen, he left. His name was Gil Sousey. And when he left, everything changed there. So I wound up going to a new company. I'm with a company now called Sully Guitars, Sully.
I've heard of them.
He just built me a new guitar, Michael Sweet model. We're going to release a U.S. and an import together.
Wow.
And I'm really excited, man. It's pretty incredible. Washburn was a great company, but, things change, times change. And I'm with Sully now. So.
Well, congratulations, and congratulations on the great new album, your 13th album with Stryper. Even the Devil Believes. Love the songs. Can't wait to see more of the videos and everything else coming out. Where should our viewers go for the website and social media and everything else, Michael, so they can see everything?
Yeah, they can go to Stryper.com, michaelsweet.com. We are on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. If you just search Stryper or Michael Sweet, you're going to see us. And we're always putting up new stuff. We're pretty active on social media, and we're always keeping the fans in the loop in terms of what's going on. So that's really important to us. But yeah, man, the new album comes out September 4th. No dates this year that I'm aware of. Hopefully next year we'll get out and start playing again, but we don't know.
Right. I mean, but there will be virtual concerts too, right?
There will be, absolutely. There will be virtual concerts. In terms of going out and performing live in front of an audience, I just don't know when that's going to happen or at what level, but it will happen, just a matter of time.
And more great music coming, and maybe an update to the book even.
Hey man, I tell you, I got to get with Dave on it, Dave Rose, and we got to write a new book because there's so much more to tell for sure.
And you keep expanding the story. Michael Sweet, thank you so much for joining the Rocket Review. Congratulations on the brand new Stryper album.
Hey buddy, thank you for having me, man. You guys are awesome.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.